right, good Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Berman here. I'm still in mourning because of the Phillies. I invested so much in myself, the World Series, the last 4 weeks. And Chris Edwards is with me to start off the show here today. Phillies losing the World Series. We're going to feature some high school football tonight. We're in the playoffs. It's awesome. Chris played at Strathaven, state champ in 1999, went to Delaware, won the national championship there. And Chris, how are you feeling about the Phillies? Right? It's really, it's amazing. Hey, it is, what did Jim McKay say years ago? The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Well, I mean, with Joe Girardi getting fired, nobody in the city thought we had anything, and they came and they fought all year. And I mean, they play good baseball. You can't leave 12 runs on when you're at home. If you do that, you're not going to win. It's simple math.
All right, here we go. We have live coverage here. We're going to be joined a little bit later by Dennis Lux. Dennis, the Interboro head football coach. They are in the 4A, Class 4A, smaller schools, District 1 championship game on Friday night. So Dennis will be here shortly. And then we're going to be joined by Dave Wood, the head coach of Ridley High School, and Brian Morris, Ridley, class of 1995, his linebacker coach. And Chris, you went through this before, back in 1999, and you won a lot of games. I don't know how many games you actually lost in your high school career with Strathaven from 96, 97, 98, 99.
I think we only lost 2 games. We lost to Allentown Central Catholic, and I think that's about it. I didn't lose much. We didn't lose much at Strathaven.
No, and then
we lost to Allentown Central Catholic in the state semifinals at Whitehall High School.
1 point.
Yeah, 13-12. We missed two extra points, unfortunately. You know, special teams is so important in high school football.
And not much, you can say about that. It was an incredible run for Strathaven, and we're going to start off with the brackets here. Is that okay? We're in the District 1 tournament. It's a 4-week grind. The District 1 5A. We'll start with that. The scores from over the weekend. We have Upper Dublin beating Academy Park 35-0. Great Valley advancing, defeating Upper Moreland 24-21. Plymouth Whitemarsh over Sun Valley 41-0. Chester, great game that I was PA announcer, beating Marple Newtown 18-15. And Strathaven 35, Upper Merion 3. Springfield Delco 42, Phoenixville 7, Ruston 41, Radnor 14, Kennett 7 without Sparacino over Methacton 7-3. So the matchups, here we go. This Friday, 11-11, it's do or die time. District 1 5A, Upper Dublin and Great Valley, and everybody is saying some great things about Upper Dublin High School.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Upper Dublin as well. I don't know much about them, but
great program, great coach, and they play bigger schools too.
Yeah, what conference are they in?
They're in the Suburban 1 League.
Oh, so they play like Ben Salem, North
Yes.
Penn.
Well, they play
like a mixture of them. They split
Quaker
it up.
Town
so
and those
like
guys.
The Central League, how they split everything up.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So I don't really know much about them.
Right. And then we have, got Brian Morris going to be joining us shortly here, and then Dave Wood. All right, now, next up we have Plymouth, Whitemarsh, and Chester, and I'm going to ask Coach Wood a little bit later when they join us. I saw the tape of that game, and Plymouth Whitemarsh was beaten by Ridley 35-13. So Chester, Plymouth Whitemarsh, you've seen Chester play. Plymouth Whitemarsh, actually 6A basketball, but 5A football.
Who'd they beat?
Plymouth Whitemarsh beat Sun Valley 41-0.
I don't really know much about Sun Valley either.
Well, they just, they're getting there. But
what's their record? What was their record?
They ended up 5-6.
I mean, anytime that you play a Suburban 1 school team, they're well coached, disciplined football. They're not going to jump off sides. They're going to run the right plays. They're going to play disciplined, smart football. Okay. And we're going to run down 5A. Okay. Then we're going to get Coach Wood and Coach Brian in here. Then Strathaven, Springfield. Strathaven, it should be, kind of a rivalry game right there. I mean, they're lucky enough that they get to see each other in the season. Last year, when we won the districts there, we we got lucky. We beat them by a field goal. Anthony Crawford broke his leg, played the whole game. Matt Schuler was banged up, but they're tough. It's a Delaware County team. They're going to play. They're going to fight. They're going to play to the end, and it's going to be a slugfest if Strathaven doesn't get on their stuff fast.
Yes, so we'll set 7 o'clock at King Field Friday night. All these games Friday night. Then Ruston is healthy now, and Ruston takes on Kennett. Kennett, again, playing without a couple of guys, but still pulled it out over Methacton 7-3. So, and, you know, Kennett last year is a team that knocked Chester out first round of the District 1 5A tournament.
So what's their record? They play like Oxford and all them, right?
Yeah, Kennett, Avongrove, they play. Yeah, they'll play once in a while Downingtown West East. Yeah, so you know, it's going to be an interesting game here. But Ruston, it's going to be down to the wire, I think. So
I mean, Ruston's tough. I mean, St. Clair's still the coach, right?
Yes, he is.
So
yeah.
he's a competitor. He doesn't like to lose. You know, coaching against him last year was different because we jumped off sides a couple times and blocked the extra point, and we had a chance to come back, and we ended up winning the game. So, yeah. I mean, went triple overtime. So, yeah,
whoever wins District 1 5A will go right to the state semis, just like 6A. And you got probably against, well, it's going to be, I think, either Imhotep or Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic's good this year?
Very good. Very good. They got good in a hurry, and they were 6A, now they're 5.
Imhotep, did they beat Malvern or did they lose to Malvern?
They lost to Malvern Prep.
Okay.
Who lost out.
I feel like Imhotep's young this year. They got a lot of didn't they graduate a bunch of kids last year?
No, they got a lot of guys back.
Okay.
And they went to the state semis and lost to Penn Trafford. And then in 6A, we'll get to that after we get the Ridley guys here. And I really appreciate them coming in. All right, gentlemen, here we go. This is Chris Edwards, played at Strathaven back in the day. Brian graduated Morris 95 from Ridley. And Coach Wood is a...
played against Dan Mulhern and everybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah, coming over, guys. Yeah, we got Chris. You're going to have to.
I'll move over.
Yeah, move over a little bit here. Coach Wood, finally nice meeting you in person. I've done some of your games over the years. Yeah, you sit right here. You use this microphone, and yeah, and then Chris, and you're going to have to. Yeah, you got to use this microphone over here. So Chris, you just need to. Yeah. So there we go. And Dennis Lux is going to join us later. So, no, Brian, you need to go right here. Yeah, right here. There you go. All right, Chris?
We're good.
Okay, you're good. Okay. All right, here we go. We've got Dave Wood here to my right, Ridley High School, year number 7, Penwood High School grad, 1986. I'm on the Delaware County Sports Hall of Fame board member. The board president's John Leary. John says hi. You played for him.
Yes, I did. Yeah, John Leary was my DC when I was back at Penwood High School, and Mike Gill was the head coach at the time, and then I played baseball. He was our head coach for baseball. So great to see those guys whenever. John Leary lives in the Garnet Valley area where I live, so
yes,
I see him from time to time.
And yeah, your kids were there. Now, Brian, you graduated. You're the linebacker coach for Ridley, and your class of 95, and you played some ball back in that. Just talk real close into these microphones right here.
Yeah, I graduated in 95. I'm one of those guys, grew up in Ridley, played at Ridley, live in Ridley now. My kids, all went through Ridley. But yeah, I played. I consider myself real lucky. Played with that that legendary staff under Mr. McNick and Frank Potter and Carl Schnellenbach and I've always enjoyed my time at Ridley. Very proud Ridley grad.
I got to run down. I love the history of the game because I'm way older than you guys, believe it or not. Okay, so Bill Slezak, the original 1934-35, 2 years. It used to be Ridley Park and Ridley Township. All right, and then I'll be 65 years old. Okay, so yeah, but growing up in Chester and all this history, and we just been following sports forever. I could go on and on. So yes, I'm an old head. So then you had Jesse Brewster, who went to Chester High, was coaching the Ridley Township. I think it was Ridley Township, and his sons went there. Mark just got in our Hall of Fame with soccer. Jesse was a head coach at Ridley from 36 to 41. Art Ramo for a year. And Phil Marion, this is when 1943 to 1972, 30 years, 223 wins. Then after him, Joe McNicholas from 73 to 96. That's a combined 54 years, just two coaches, 226 wins for Joe. Ralph Batty came in 97 to 2000. So you played against him, Chris. All right, and you can get that microphone. I like when you guys. Yeah, I love it. I really got old school radio broadcaster.
When did you graduate from Strathaven?
2000.
All right. Well, you would have been a little bit. Yeah, you were a little.
Oh, so okay, my bad here.
When you were
So Batty left in 2000. Yeah. That was his last year.
Who was the coach after that?
Ralph was the defensive coordinator for years, beginning in the 80s when McNick was there.
There you go.
And then when McNick retired, he became the head coach for a handful of years.
The intense John Waller.
Yes.
Yes, and he 2001, 2008, 79 wins, 21 losses. Dennis Decker came in. I heard he's a Dave Berman type of guy. I hope I can meet him someday.
I tried to get him to come. I saw him. Landon had a game. He plays for, I told you, it's a long story, Haverford Youth. I moved back in the area. I didn't know Ridley had a thing. I talked to one of the youth football coaches. He's like, why the hell you could be playing here? Your kid's huge, you know? And Dennis, I saw him. I was like, come on the show with us. And he's like, I don't know.
And then David, you've been there since 2016. Did you grow up? Okay, Penwood. It used to be Lansdowne Alden. Used to be Yeadon. Used to be Darby Colwyn.
Colwyn, yep.
You're right. What towns
so
you grow up?
I grew up in Yeadon. So then I was one of the first when Penwood High School came in. Merged and everything. I was in the junior high down in Yeadon still, and then a couple of years later went to Penwood.
Yeah, that was summer of '82 in Strathaven.
Summer of '69, you're getting ready to say.
Well, '82 at the time, because then Strathaven was
another province.
But Interboro, Denny Lux has been there forever. There you go. Interboro for a long time. But so you guys know each other, and I'm going to say it, you may play later this year. Because I'm hoping that Dennis Lux and those guys can go a long way, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll go one week at a time. It gets tougher and tougher in the tournament. All right, so Dave, tell us about your career. I mean, you played at Widener, big-time career, tremendous credentials.
Yeah, when I left Penwood, I ended up at Widener. I played there for my 4 years under Bill Manlove. And then
I went to high school with his daughter, Sue, at Nether Providence in 1976 grade.
Correct. So then after that, I stayed 1 year with Bill, on staff with Bill, get my master's, and then Bill left, kind of retired, and then went right to Delaware. Went to LaSalle and some other places, and then Bill Cupid was there. Stayed with Bill for a while, then had an opportunity to go to Lehigh in '96. Came back with Bill Zwan as his DC, and we made a couple Final Four, Final Eight appearances. Then when he moved on to Westchester, I took over the Widener job. I was there for 7 years. And then had a great chance towards the end to go at University of Penn before I came in high school. So I spent 26 years in college football as a head coach, as a defensive coordinator on both sides of the ball. And then when Al Bagnoli kind of retired too, and then he took the Columbia job, it was a great opportunity to step back in high school when the Ridley job opened up, because I have 3 boys that all have the opportunity to see them now in high school. And my latest one graduated last year, and he's starting at Salisbury University.
Oh, nice, down there in Maryland. It had to be tough with your sons, and I've seen it before with other coaches. You coached against your sons.
Correct. I coached against my oldest one. My first year at Ridley High School, he was a senior at Garnet Valley, my son David. And that year, they were really good, and we played really well. We beat them at Garnet Valley, and then unfortunately, I was 0 for 3 against my next son, CJ.
A rookie beats a lot of people.
Yeah, my middle son was a hockey player. He plays college NCAA hockey, so he stopped playing in 9th grade, and then I still have a daughter in 10th grade right now. So, but that's why I made the transition to high school, to be around more, and a great chance to coach at a historic program like Ridley High School. Yeah,
unbelievable field. I love your TV network. Ridley as Interboro is a great, with a great Bill Soroka, Ridley. Interboro TV, you guys, Mike Iannacci,
he does a great job.
Another pride of Chester, by the way. Another pride of Chester, Chris. Okay. What are your favorite towns, right? There you go.
I'm here
so you know this guy, Chris Edwards, over here.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So he played at college ball with Casey Keeler.
Well, Tubby recruited me, and then Casey Keeler came in. We were hoping maybe Bill Zwan got the job.
Yeah, that was that year.
Yeah. So, I was recruited by Bob Sable. Danny Mulhern, I played with him at Strathaven, so it's kind of like a layup for me. Like when Delaware offered me, I got offers from, at the time it was the Atlantic 10, it wasn't the CAA or whatever it is now. Everybody offered me a scholarship in that. Like bigger schools were looking at me. I just knew I was like a tweener. I knew I wasn't 6'4". I wasn't the guy that was 6'4" that was going to play at the top 1A level, like some of the guys that graduated before me, like Jim Connor, went to Boston College,
Right.
didn't really, he played, but he didn't start. It was one of those things when you look at that, you see some of your peers that go to these bigger schools, you kind of get nervous because I was more of an athlete than I was a student. So I looked at the tradition of the University of Delaware. Pat Mulhern, Danny, and then John comes and plays with us, and it's like it was a layup. Mr. Mulhern was running for commissioner in another Providence Township that year when Andy Taylor and Mark Ferrante came to school, and they come to school. I have a Mulhern for commissioner shirt on. He's like,
Brian,
Mr.
the greatest,
Mulhern,
the greatest,
Tour 64. So
That's a train, by the way.
He, it was a great experience playing for, Kevin Clancy. I think he's going to go down as one of the best high school football coaches in the state of Pennsylvania. Just his record. He's had some great years. He's had some down years as well, but more good than bad, I think. He's a good mentor to the kids in the community. He's been at the school since he left Carroll 30 years ago, 35 years.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's been there forever. So, and it's one of those things. It's like what you're getting with Strathaven. You're going to get a heavy dose of the ground game. You're going to get. They show you what they do. They're going to run an 87 ISO, 83 ISO, and guard trap, counter crisscross, a little misdirection stuff, and they win. They know how to win. So, and they got blessed with some good talent, this year and the past year. Having a kid like Chase Barlow, we didn't get a chance to play you guys last year, but that kid Barlow was a tough kid.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's at Bucknell wrestling. But we always get those kids there. We always had success. We always, kind of like Ridley kids, you always get a tough kid. You're going to get kids that are undersized, that work their asses off in the weight room, that want to be there, want to be good, want to show up, right? And I feel like now, just the dilemma that you guys have as high school coaches, it's like, you got the social media stuff, you got this and that. When we played, we didn't have a cell phone. If we wanted to call somebody, we hit the rotary phone,
Right.
So there's a lot of distractions.
Yep.
Right.
And it's easy for these kids to be distracted. So
Now, Brian, you played too. Talk about your career.
High school football player. I'd never played at the next level. I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Ridley. Like I said, I feel like I was blessed to have the staff in front of me that I had when I was there. With Mr. McNick, with Coach Batty as the DC, Frank Potter, who was on the staff, another Chester guy, Catman, who was a St. James guy. I believe he grew up in Chester, maybe not. I could be wrong. Joe Huwanski.
I actually don't know him.
No, you don't know Joe Huwanski?
that's somebody.
All right, that's something. That's something.
That's a shock.
I'm sorry about
That's
that.
got to go down. That's got to be noted. Then
You had Schnell on that
Schnell
staff.
was on that
Schnell was
staff.
on
I mean,
that
it was a really good staff, and we learned a lot. Like Chris was saying, there was a lot demanded of you, and I think the thing that I took the most from those. One of the things I took the most from those coaches is they were men that you just didn't want to let down.
Yeah.
They demanded
Father
a lot
figure,
of you.
yeah.
And they really did. And it was tough. Our practices were brutal. At the time, and I'm not sure, what every other school does, but, we had multiple guys go both ways. And we would play teams, I can remember playing O'Hara my senior year and them asking us after we just, we handled them pretty well, and them saying, how do you guys go both ways? Like they were platooning
We
at
have
the
no
time.
choice.
And it was like, what do you mean? Our practices were brutal to the point where when you were in the game, it was like, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was not
The
sometimes
games were
as
a lot
difficult.
easier
Right?
than practice.
It was more fun. That was your release from the brutal practices all week long.
Yeah.
Those games were your release, and they were men that you didn't want to disappoint. And they were stoic, quiet guys. But I consider myself really lucky having played under that staff.
All right, Coach Wood, Ridley, Brian Marsh, assistant coach, and the guru, former Strathaven great, Chris Edwards, tells it like it is. And later, Dennis Lux, very excited to talk to you. District 1 championship game coming up. I can go on and on. We're going to get to that. So, and obviously, you guys know each other. All right, Dave, talk about your season. I have friends their kids play for Springford, and of course Larry Stevenson, the Chester great, his grandson plays for you. That's how old I am.
Batika's son plays there too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's a sophomore.
He's a tight end or something, right?
Basically, can you run down your season for us?
Yeah. We finished the regular season 7-3. We went back to Florida this year. In my 7 years, we did the Florida trip now 2 times.
Can I remember, how was that?
It was awesome. It's one of the most great experiences for the kids. I mean, there's some kids will never get out of Delaware County. We raise a ton of money.
That's
the
awesome.
Kids raise a lot of money. But we go down there. We flew out of Lehigh Valley. Everything is chartered. Everything is, it's just like a college football program.
It's like a business trip.
No doubt about it. It's just like when I was in college as a head coach. I mean, the hotels that we stayed in, the food, the restaurants we had to ourselves with the parents that traveled.
Go to chow. It was fantastic.
On the plane ride down,
awesome.
it was basically our parents, our team, our staff, and a couple other people. That was it. So
that's a great experience.
These are lifetime experiences that these kids will never get back. And we scheduled a big 7A team. We played Crestview, whose tailback's going to University of Florida. So we're not going to duck people. We're going to play a great schedule. We know going in, we had the Carroll kid, who's a young quarterback. We knew he would have to grow up early. But how better is it to grow up to play in a great 7A school
Southern
in Florida?
Boys,
you know, who's in camp and they have a full-fledged spring. You know, they're playing 3-4 games in the spring jamboree. They started 3 weeks before us, but it was a great experience. I mean, it wasn't a great final score, but
what was the score?
It's 50, 50 to 38,
20. Yeah, I mean, we scored
50
early.
what?
I think it was 28.
54, 28 or
Yeah,
something.
but it takes a lot of guts to get out of your state, go play a team. Like, you know, we could talk about Delaware County football and like how some of the people that are in the Central League probably shouldn't really be there. You know, like they should probably go to other, like, not saying they shouldn't be there, but like a Harrington, like people that we didn't play when I was there. When you played,
I never played them.
Yeah, we never played them. When you were there, you were in the Del Val. So it's Glen Mills, you know, Chester, the same, Interboro, everybody, right? So it's like, to get that experience, it's like we traveled to Berwick where Rocket Ishmael played. So it was one of those things where, you know, we're in the state, but you went out of the state, and that takes.
Yeah, it's really a tough situation in the sense that, in the bottom line, you're hoping to get in the playoffs at the end of the year, and you know we know in our regular season, you know, you had Garnet. We knew Garnet was going to be another good football team, even though they lost a bunch of seniors. What they do system-wise,
It's like,
you know, we knew we had Strathaven, who was a loaded bear coming back on our schedule. So, you know, you're going into the year that if you don't beat a Garnet or a Strathaven and you finish 7-3, usually in District 1, you're on a 16th seed if you're lucky. I mean, my second year, every year I've been in the playoffs except for 1 year, and not counting the COVID year, and we were a 7-3 football team, pretty good, and we didn't make the playoffs. So you take those chances, but I think just the experience of taking the kids away to play a Florida high school football team, which the kids always read about, see about, was a great experience. And then because of Harrington refused to play us this year, we got lucky. We played Plymouth Whitemarsh, who was a very good football team this year. They're a triple option team.
Why did they refuse to play you? They're in the league.
They're in a league. They have a 2-year hiatus where they pick and choose who they want. That's another topic along the
I don't want to go. Yeah, I
They're
don't.
in the Central League, though.
They're in the Central League.
Okay.
They needed some wins.
They
Okay,
needed
that's
some-
enough.
So
I don't like
the
that.
thing that happened was that they ended up, like Garnet couldn't find a 10th game. You know, Crestview, Florida High School was still playing the regular season last week. So with all that said in mind, if Garnet plays a 10th game, if Crestview's 10th game counts, and also the Haverford Upper Darby game should be played during the regular season and on Thanksgiving, we probably host that Springford game, which probably, in my mind,
You're home.
would have made
Home field advantage
would have made a little bit of a difference.
Yeah,
We
with
played-
the Ridley crowd behind you. You
yeah,
guys
we
are
played
always,
a great first half. It was 28-14. It really should have been probably 28-7. We suffered a second injury at inside linebacker right before the half. Mike Casella broke his forearm in 2 places. And 2 weeks before that, we lost our best player, the Connor Kelly kid, who was just starting to play a little bit on
Junior or
offense.
senior?
He's a sophomore.
Oh, crap.
He started
Really?
since 9th grade for us. And
how big is he?
he's 6'1", 6'2", 215 kid who is a great player. And But we did. We adjusted. We threw Mike in there, and we won the last 3. We played a great game against Conestoga on the road. We played a great game against Marple on the road. Took care of Upper Darby. Got in the playoffs. We felt good. But right before half, then we had to go to our third-string guy. And they outplayed us in the second half. I'm not making any excuses there. We couldn't get things started on offense. But it was a good football game, but I do believe that would have been a little bit of advantage. And it's very frustrating sometimes. I think all the coaches go through the point systems.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, and that's like we hit on this like maybe 7 or 8 weeks ago on the show, and it was like we were talking. I think Coach Bell was on, and we were talking about the experience of traveling for high school kids and how great of an experience it is, especially for the kids that are going to play at the next level, right? So we had the opportunity. Like when I was on staff, I think it was Thanksgiving Day, and Coach Clancy was like, "Chris, what do you think about like us playing Berwick during the school year?" I'm like, "Do it." And he's like, "Would you?" I was like, "Yeah, let's play them there."
Yeah.
So these kids can see what
type of environment.
What type of environment it is, because listen, you go to Ridley, you go to anybody, Interboro, you guys got your normal people that come to the games that are there all the time supporting the team. It's a good experience. Like, there's only certain teams in Delaware County that it's like actually fun to go to a game on a Friday night.
Yep.
And like Ridley's one of them. So like whenever we played you guys, we played you every year when I played there. Mm-hmm. And it was always like, the Mike Dollards or the kids that were on the team, and it's a good experience. Right. But to get the kids out of the Delco area, it's like a lot of, like you said, a lot of these kids that play for you might never get a chance to move at like.
I've said before, I think that when we travel to Florida like that, that's probably the closest thing to what I imagine a bowl game is like for those big school teams. Yeah. That's the closest thing most of the kids, if not all of them, are ever going to see of a bowl game. I mean, Dave's right. Everything was chartered. The dinners were fantastic. Like I said, we went to Fogo de Chao. It was fantastic. It was just awesome.
On green all night.
Right. I mean, the kids went to Universal, and it was just them, interacting with each other in the hotel rooms and everything. Just that bonding experience, pays dividends. I think, down the road,
team
no question.
Building. Makes them stronger.
No question
and
about it.
Start off with the first game of the year.
Correct.
Like, that's a big, risk for you, too. Like, it's like you're going down and playing a huge team in Florida, not knowing much about them.
Yeah, it's that, and, it is a long trip. After you go down there the day before you get to practice. You're trying to get acclimated to the heat. The heat is
it's different.
It's different down there, bro.
It's different.
We played in there were thunder showers, so we sat in our bus for 5 hours and then had to get out of the bus. So did they. But talking to them, that happens on a regular basis for them. Every week they sit on buses and do it. So, but it was just a great experience.
I hope you guys continue to do that.
We will. Probably another, 2-3 years, we'll look at another group.
It's a lot of fundraising. It's a lot of fundraising that goes on.
All right, you guys beat Plymouth Whitemarsh 35-13. I watched the game.
Okay.
Chester plays them next up there. Any tips for Chester?
I mean, the quarterback is a very dynamic kid for Plymouth Whitemarsh.
4,
he was tremendous. He was a kid the year before that was a tailback that they moved to quarterback, and he does a lot of great things in the triple. They're a triple team. They're very well coached. We played them, I think, our second year, Plymouth Whitemarsh.
Was that in the
same
playoffs?
coach, but a different system. So you're getting a very well coached team. Again, it's an offense that you can't hardly prepare, because when you try to get your scout team, especially in high school, to run triple or try to run Garnet Valley's offense, it looks nothing like you're going to see for the first 10 minutes coming at you. Yeah. But they do a great job. It should be a good matchup.
Chester playing Downingtown West help. They were hanging in there with those guys. That's another level.
Yeah, when you're playing those big teams, like that, you get that experience. So that's why, again, you can. I think it's a little bit easier in the 5A teams to go out and play, to play up and play out of your district a little bit, just because when I continue to look at the playoffs, again, there's teams that have 3-4 losses getting in, and you can challenge yourself knowing that if I have 3-4 losses, I played a great schedule, but that's going to help me at the end. 6A, you can't do that. 6A,
right.
you have
6A is always big school.
You got those District 1 teams that are up in Chester County, Montgomery County, that their whole league is 6A teams. They're getting so many more points. I don't control my teams in the
Because
schedule.
you play 5A.
Yeah, I
schedule,
mean,
right?
Strathaven's, again, has a chance to go to a Final Four or a state game, but being a 5A school, we don't get as many points as, other teams
I think-
of their play.
So I never really understood as a player what like the point systems were until and I actually, Dave, to be completely honest with you, I didn't understand it last year either, because I would just coach the kid, right?
Yeah.
And because it wasn't about football, it was about like putting these kids in the right position, right? And it was like, hey, what you eat for lunch today? Did you put pepper on it? Because let's be honest, Mr. Clancy's not doing that.
Yeah.
He's very systematic. He's very black and white.
Yep.
Right.
This is what you're getting, but you need somebody that kind of breaks
Right,
up the
take a
monotony.
little of the-
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right, it's 7:32. We're live on CMP Radio. I feel like I'm right, broad radio days. Anyway, 28 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Dennis Lux waiting in the wings. Okay, Coach? Sitting back, observing. Coach Wood, now where do you go from here? Season, I mean, I'm hoping, they make a deep run, but, I mean, where do you go from here? What's the mentality of the program right now?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in this situation, a couple times with, first round losses. I think Interboro has a really strong team. I mean, we started already this weekend looking at them. The tailback's an unbelievable player.
Abu Kamara.
So I really think there's no reason why they don't win this week in the district final, and I really think they're a Final Four team in the state. I would love for our seniors to get one more game. It's a home game for us. It's always a great crowd at Ridley for that game. But, I keep looking at the PIAA and everything that they're doing to take away these games, which is, I think it's only a matter of time, just because the constraints that they're doing with the schedules are moving things later. It's really hard. I mean, we made a little deeper run last year. We didn't get to a district final game, but, playing and then have to turn around in a week and play a Thanksgiving Day game after your kid just lost a game that was one game away from playing in the district final in the Final Four game.
Who'd you guys lose to North Penn,
Coatesville.
right?
We lost to Coatesville.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
beat North Penn.
Beat North Penn.
Beat North Penn.
Yeah, I predicted them to beat North Penn, and I got hammered on the form, and then I announced the Coatesville
So it's,
game, and it was amazing what they did to Tubby Mills.
It's just a tough,
Yeah.
turnaround mentally for the kids. And, I know we've been talking about it, just how do you make this game still such a relevant for all the fans,
For the
alumni,
tradition
and
of
everything
the-
else.
of
And
Delaware
to
County.
me, I had a plan. To me, I think we should open up in the opener. We should go down the shore and do one of those big kickoff classics down the shore.
Ocean City.
With all the alumni and everything else, because sooner or later, and I'm a Penwood guy, so, Brian holds it against me, but I just think sooner or later the PIAA is going to take these games away. Look how many great games that, school districts have gotten away with it, because again, we now have to sit for 2.5 weeks. We have kids now we have 12 kids that are getting ready for wrestling.
Yeah.
They can say the sports don't start, but they're wrestling starting on Monday.
Yeah.
Basketball is starting open gyms.
Yeah.
How do you keep those kids?
You
For
can't.
us,
Right.
our school district, so many kids play 2 sports. It's for Ridley, they have to. So again, it's really hard, but I keep saying, let's approach Interboro. Let's play the opener in Ocean City.
That would be
great
nice.
crowd,
What do you think?
And put it that way. And to me, that's the answer. To
Real
me,
quick,
that would get it.
you could play Thanksgiving Day if you make it to and then play your state playoff game Saturday. It's happened before.
That
You
would
know,
happen before. I guarantee it would never happen again.
right? But it was It was Easton
Yeah.
against Phillipsburg, New Jersey, and Easton would play. They played a Thursday Thanksgiving game, but then they play Saturday.
Yeah,
It was
I
like-
think Ridley's done that before.
When Ridley made their run into to the state championship game, they played Interboro
oh, in 1990.
in 1990,
Yeah.
but also went on to play in the
Play now.
playoffs. They beat Wilson West Lawn and then
Correct.
lost to North Allegheny in
Yeah.
the
I
state
just think
championship.
you're never going to see those 2 games in a week. Again.
right.
It's,
I
you know what I
just-
mean? Unfortunately.
Yeah, I was.
Well, I
you know.
remember as a kid going to those games, growing up in Wallingford.
Yeah.
It's like my dad's like, all right, we're going to go to the Ridley Interboro game. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well,
crowds,
when I was a
man.
college
Yeah.
coach, I was recruited and I went to that Easton game. They're great games. I mean, the history.
Yeah, the whole
the
neighborhood comes
tradition.
out.
No doubt.
It just
People are tailgating at 6 in the
Right.
morning. They're hammered.
for that.
Well, I'll tell you, I want to get you guys on someday again, okay, man? I mean, it's great.
Yeah, this was a lot of
It's
fun.
great. And
Love to
Dennis's
have
second time, and I if you guys want to come on, people, come on the show. Say, like anybody, Garnet Valley, I get people, ask me all the time, how come this guy's not? It's an open invitation. Yeah. Okay, so
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Coach Wood.
Yep.
Can I get a quick picture with him?
Certainly.
Take it as I stand here, 'cause I know you guys got to leave, and we're going to get Dennis Lux over here, and real quick here. And Chris, you want to start it? You want to start it off with Dennis Lux of? Okay, thanks.
Who's going to take the picture?
Okay, well, I'll get Brian. Brian, you come over here. You guys get on there. Yeah.
Sit down, dude.
Is he trying to get on?
Yeah. So who you guys playing in?
We played Pope John Paul II.
So I shook your hand last year, but I never officially introduced myself. I coached at Haven last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just helped out when I
Okay.
moved back to the area. So
Nice to meet you.
I feel like last year when you guys
All right. Okay, Brian. Thanks.
were just talking about how
Yeah,
I never met him.
Oh, good.
Even
Go
though
ahead.
I coached last year at Strathaven, but I was really impressed with you guys when we played you, right? So it's just one of those things where like your kids fight.
Yep.
You know, you teach them to fight, discipline football, and it's hard, man. It's hard to, like they were saying, like it's hard to like sustain anybody nowadays. How many kids you got on your team?
I think we have like 52 on a roster, 48 or something like that.
Yeah. Then you got to run a JV team. Then you
Yeah.
got to run a scout team. Then you got to run a varsity team.
Yeah, so that's like freshmen included. We didn't have a freshman team this year, so we moved them up. So
Really?
you're talking about like having a scout team and trying to emulate Chester and AP and Penwood and the offenses they run are just, it's tough. I mean, it's probably simpler like to spread and the things that they do, but like to have the athletes that they have that really simulate, what's going on. Talking about like last year with like playing you guys. I mean, obviously, district title game, and that was a great team. And we came off of, again, not excuses, but it was just a weird season for us because we were COVID. And I know essentially played in the fall, a shorter season. We played in the spring. And
Yeah, which was weird, I thought.
Yeah, so like we started lifting in end of June, maybe beginning of July. And like for us and for you guys, like how important the weight room is,
yeah,
the style
of
of football. And like for our kids, I mean, it was so obvious when we played like the strength of your guys' team that year. And like we could have maybe got there if we were lifting the whole time. And it was a really, and we love playing Strathaven week 1 too, because it's like,
It gives you a good test.
yes, like what kind of team do you have? Where are you at? Like, can you battle? Are your kids gonna run through a brick wall for you or not? Because that's what you're gonna get when you play
Well,
Strathaven.
I feel like that's the toughest thing with anybody, not Interboro, not Strathaven, just any high school football team, right? Like, I feel like the coaches get more nervous than the kids do because it's like you prepare.
Even Clancy?
He doesn't really talk much, so, he's a man of few words, but, I feel like he gets nervous too, I think, just because it's like the goosebumps of calling plays.
Yeah.
And like to see what you got, like, you know what I mean? Because with Haven, you know what you're getting. You're getting a heavy dose of the ground game.
Yep.
That game with them earlier, you were right there with them.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
good.
there are only 2 losses to Chester and Strathaven. Yeah.
What we play you week 2?
Week 1, week
Again?
0, whatever they want
It was
to call it.
27-13 in favor of Interboro.
Well, I heard a lot about that running back.
Oh,
Tell
yeah,
me about
he's
that.
good.
Was he a junior or senior?
Senior. I mean,
What did he do last year? Was he hurt? When
he had a bunch last year. He had like 1,700 yards, I think, last year.
Really?
20-something, or 17 touchdowns. He was my quarterback the sophomore year, the COVID year. Just a great kid. I know we talked about him. He was here in the show when we were here. Just a phenomenal kid, straight A student. I mean, just the type of kid you want on your team, like makes everyone around him better. And the jump that he made from last year, this year, and he was pretty good last year, like 6 touchdowns last year against Avon Grove, pick 6 and 5 rushing, or 1 catching, 4 rushing, interception. It was a great game. But the strides that he made from last year to this year, like almost 30 pounds of muscle he put on. He
big is
ran
he?
track. He's like 6'1", 205.
Is he getting looked at?
Yeah, Iowa State's on him right
Really?
now. Yeah, they talk to him pretty much every day, and so we're feeling out.
Iowa State.
Yeah, they were at our practice.
That's a far
Yeah,
ride.
that was good. It was on our show. You started on District 1 4A. They're 4A,
Yeah.
smaller schools, and you had to play Bishop Shanahan, who
You
is
smoked them, didn't you?
It
was a tough game.
Yeah,
I mean, that-
they're a down for them, and they lost some kids, but they can bring some in. And they went to the state semis last year, and almost I announced that game, public address announcer at Coatesville. They played Bishop McDevitt out of Harrisburg, and it was 28-21. It was a great game. And then McDevitt went to the finals and lost to Aliquippa. But anyway, so it was tough.
Yeah, 48-28, we won. I think it was tied we were up 26-21 at halftime. But they came out tough. So just watching their film, every game that they played throughout the year, they had somebody injured, seemed like somebody out. And then they played Chi the last game of the year before the playoffs. And they were fully healthy. You could tell they had all their starters back. And they were, I don't know about all of them, but they had, very viable players in every single spot. And they came out to play. I mean, even the first play of the game was like, we just ran wham, and it was like, boom. Like, Abu just met the linebacker in the hole, and it was like, okay. Like, they're definitely ready to play. Different team than their record. And they played really, really tough. But we just felt like, we could wear them down, just keep playing our style of football, play as hard as we can. They scored right before half and then got the ball. So it was one of those games where, we went into the locker room and it was like, there's nothing we can do. Like, the momentum's swinging their way. But at the end of the day, like, we're still winning this game was the message. Like, I know it's very hard to do in your head to switch this momentum in your head, but, like, our next opportunity when this game starts, when halftime's over, is to get a stop. If we can do that, we feel like we should be okay because we were scoring, we were moving the ball pretty well.
So now you call the plays?
Yeah, I call the plays, but the guy up top is my line coach, Zach McMenamin, coach up top, and I mean we call the plays together. That's I'm not sure, like we call the plays together. Like he says something, I'm calling it right away. I mean the amount of time he puts in and our coaches put in is just, I mean you've been there. So
I didn't really put a lot of time in just because I'm one of those guys. I watched the team. I can watch like 10 plays and be like, all right, like this is what we got to do. Like, just put the kids in the right position. So it's like,
Interboro, you're 9-2.
That's a great,
most wins
record.
since Chris Thomas's senior year, 2016. And here we go. Pope John Paul II, private school right across the road from Springford, Royersford. The schedule was okay, but the big concern.
Are they playing at your place?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Oh, you got home field advantage.
But they played a very good Perkiomen Valley team, 6A, and that final score was 21-14, Chris. Perkiomen Valley, they're good enough to maybe win that District 1 6A.
We used to play Grant Wiley all the time.
That when they were smaller. Now, so that was 21-14, so that's the game you're looking at.
Yeah, that's the game we're paying attention, kind of seeing where they're at and having their film. I mean, that Pope John Paul is a very, like, just the film that we've been, up all night last night in the weight room with the coaches and just going over on the stuff on the board, like, that they're very good. They have playmakers in every single spot. They have, linemen that, can move people. They got D linemen that take double teams well. They have linebackers. I mean, they are a very good football team, well coached. I can't say enough good things about them. But, we feel like at home, on our field, we should be. I think it's supposed to, rain Friday night, so we're already getting calls to, like move the game or something like that, but we're playing that Friday night at Interboro.
Friday night on the grass.
Yep, exactly, in the rain.
How long you been the head coach there?
3 years now.
So you took over for Lennox?
Yep.
Were you on his staff?
I was the freshman coach.
Okay.
When he was there. Yep. I was his quarterback in 2005.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So
absolute legend there.
Yeah.
And D'Esposito, Coach D'Esposito.
Who was the line coach when?
Dan Mills. Yeah, when I was there.
He was nuts.
Yep. I mean, that's why some of our kids are the way they are. I mean, we were like they were talking about like not letting a coach down. Oh my God, like you never wanted to mess with Coach Mills or let him down. Like I was the quarterback and his line would block like crazy for me, and I'd be petrified to like make a mistake because he'd be all on like, my God, look how hard they're blocking, and you can't complete a pass. And then like after Thanksgiving, I was always smaller. I didn't do much. Sean Watson was my running back, so I just hand the ball to him 100 times a game. But like after our Thanksgiving day, I remember having like a little moment with Coach Mills, like he said something like I'll never doubt you again or something like that, and it was like finally I like won him over because like he was always riding me in practice and stuff.
Yeah, 7th trip to the District 1 championship. They had the old, you guys played in that sub-regional. You had 92. Some. You had some of those. Oh, well, yeah.
Mike Jones was at the school.
93. Yeah. Okay, that is Strathaven 35. Yeah, Chris Leggett. That's his dad. 35-14. You were too young to remember that game? Or?
How old are you?
36.
No, he's not too young.
93?
Yeah.
He was born in 86.
So,
no,
so I was
87.
I don't know.
So Strathaven won that game 35-14. They were undefeated undefeated that year, Strath?
Yeah, I remember like the
But the point
black
system.
and yellow. Like that
Yeah.
was like the.
Oh, you were.
I was a kid. I was
Yeah.
11, 12 years old.
Then you guys were actually 4A. They were top class Interboro 2002. You were coming up through the program, and
Yep, I was sophomore.
you gave North Penn a good game.
Yep.
They lost 26-14. Did they win the state title that year?
I don't think that year. The
Penn-
next year, they think they won.
Dick Beck was still is a head coach.
Yep.
Yeah, they have a bit. We got to talk about that a little if we get a chance later. They play Central Bucks West. It's an old school battle.
Oh, yeah.
Then you played North Penn again.
Yeah, 2 district championships in a row.
43-28.
My sophomore year was at that was at home actually on a Saturday. I think there was like a rainstorm there or something. They moved it. I don't know why we played on Saturday, but it was like a Saturday during a day game. We tried an onside kick at the end, almost got it. They called us. We got the onside kick, called us for offsides after it was mayhem down there. And then my junior year, probably the year you're talking about now, we played them at Wissahickon on like AstroTurf. Remember,
Wild
it's, like,
game, 43-28.
scrambling to try to get like
turf shoes.
yeah, like I think we got them from the Eagles. We had someone that had it in there, and like
Wasn't Mills? Didn't he have it in there or something?
I think one of our gym teachers was working for them.
In 2009, you played Potts Grove, and it was an overtime game, 28-21 Potts Grove.
They were always, they were always very good.
Really tough.
And like, that's who we
Penny
met
Packer,
a
the
lot.
coach,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
And then 2012, you beat Westchester Henderson. I sent you the Marple Newtown guys Radio Network did that game.
Yeah. Really?
It was crazy. I just found that today. Interboro, you beat Westchester Henderson 14-12.
Yep. 2 of my coaches that we brought on this year were on that team. So we had the banner up that says district champs, and they're always bragging.
And then you had so really the only District 1 championship go to the States was 2012. Then you had to run into Archbishop Wood.
Yeah, they were really good that year.
Yeah.
I think like Pitts was on Atlanta was like the tight end maybe
Kyle
or something.
Pitts,
like
It
that.
was.
Yeah.
And then Potts
Went to
Grove
Florida.
Yeah. Yep.
with Chris Thomas, who had an unbelievable career at Kutztown. Potts Grove beat you again by 1 point.
Yeah.
In that 2016, that was in 4A. All right, so how's their defense, Paul?
They're good. I mean, they're like us. All their kids play both sides of the ball. They're playmakers. I mean, they're good. There's, the teams that they played. Their schedule we can say, but like they played Perk Valley, and that was a good like stepping stone for them, or like to judge like where they're kind of at, because I think they're the 2 seed in 6A. Perk
Oh
Valley.
yeah, Perk. They
'Cause,
yeah.
So, I mean, I can't, more and more film I watch of them, the better they get to me. So, I think it's going to be a really good football game. We're going to try to play our style, and I think if we can play our style, we should be okay.
So, how are your kids? Monday, first week of practice. What's it look like on a Monday at Interboro?
Just right away we do film. So Mondays we come in, we do film, we lift, we run the mile, and then we have a walkthrough on a Monday.
So you condition the kids a lot.
Absolutely, because we know we got to go both ways, so there's really no excuses.
Yeah, that's like unheard of anymore. Like you run a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
we
remember.
run Saturday mornings too, like at our Friday games. We don't kill them, but we run to just like get the bumps and bruises out. We just do
yeah,
like a
of
little
course.
bit. Yep.
I felt so bad hearing about the Ridley situation, the injuries
Yeah.
that they had, and how you guys doing?
We lost, I guess like three weeks ago. We lost our left tackle.
How big is he?
He's actually 6'6", like 360.
What?
Huge junior. Yes. Just starting to kind of come along too, and
You need some help with him?
Yeah, come on over. Yeah, he's he was really coming along, and so we had to move our left guard over to left tackle.
And how big is your left guard?
Left guards, Logan's probably 6'1", 260 probably.
I mean,
Something
you
like
guys got some hogs up
yeah.
there.
So he moved over left tackle. I brought a junior in, a little smaller, but really tough kid at left guard. He breaks his hand at practice last week.
He played though, right?
He did. It was 2 days before the break, so that doctors weren't okay with it. So started.
Was his parents okay with it though?
Yeah, they were ready to club it up, and we were ready to play.
Yeah, well,
but
doesn't the parents trump the doctor?
yeah, I don't know how it goes. I stay out of that stuff.
Well, but I'm saying, like when we played, the parents
Yeah, there was like
trumped the
you
doctor.
could. Yeah, nowadays, I think you can like sign a waiver, this or that, but like before, like
I don't get how
my
it
dad
all
was just
works.
like,
yeah,
you're playing no matter
yeah,
what.
you're playing no matter what. Your
Yeah.
leg could be broken. You're playing.
Yeah.
How's my man Matt Gallinall doing?
Oh, he's good.
center,
He's
the
healthy.
center.
Kid.
Oh yeah, very well
Talks
spoken.
about him all the time.
Yeah, He's a good.
Every week that I'm on here,
He was on my show, man. He was good on the air.
He's
Yeah,
good, man.
good.
He's literally.
He has that Philly Delco,
Love
toughness.
that.
Yeah.
It's like your nephew.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're all nuts. But anyway, yeah, Matt.
Oh yeah, he's doing great. I mean, he's getting better every single week. I mean, to think, we'll work on it once the season's over, we get going and stuff like that. But he's going to be like a joy for someone to grab. Whatever division he plays at the next level, he's going to play football at the next level. He's a 6'1", 220, 225 or something.
So he's like a linebacker kind of.
Yeah, but he plays like center for us and like D endish, D tackle.
He plays hard.
But he plays way bigger than he is.
He leaves his heart on the field.
Oh yeah, he plays very hard.
Love your quarterback too, man. He's a
Yeah.
tough son of a gun.
Yeah, Julian's coming along. I mean,
What year is
long
that?
way. He's a senior too. We're
How
really
many seniors you graduating this year?
probably 14, I think, this year.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, for us it's a
Hey,
lot.
Next man up next year, man.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun.
We have a really good group of kids, and the seniors, juniors, even sophomores. Like, it's been really fun throughout the year, and you have your couple knuckleheads that you're always going to have to deal with, but these group.
I feel
the
like
culture.
your coaches can deal with those guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
You got some knuckleheads I think
yeah.
on your staff too, just like everyone else
Yep.
has.
Like Sean Watson's my defensive coordinator, and
You know Sean?
I know a dude that I used to work with his wife at Glen Mills.
yeah.
Alicia?
Oh, so Bill Marketis.
Yeah.
So
He
Sean
played
used to
by
work
Tony,
at.
right?
Yes, he was on my staff last year, and he's still around helping out when he can.
think
Sean
like-
worked at Glen Mills
yeah.
too for a little bit.
Sean who?
Watson. He was Delco
old
Times
is
Player of the Year, same age as me, 36. This was probably
2005?
a while ago.
Was Sean
Yeah, he
2000?
graduated
He's
in
not,
05.
son.
Oh yeah, he is. Yes.
Yeah,
My best
I
friend.
thought I was the
Good to
only one.
have,
nuts.
dude.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah,
He's never changed.
No.
No, it's
not
good.
one
You
bit.
don't want your friends to change.
Played at University of Maine.
Nice.
He's a great defense guard.
So you're playing at home field,
Yep.
live on TV. Bill Soroka, ready to roll. This guy's great, man.
Yeah,
he's
the
awesome. He's awesome. And it's going to be packed. I'm sure you have to get the tickets ahead of time.
Yeah,
now?
everything's sold online now. There's no like cash exchange or anything like that. It's all a lot of gripe about that. But we try to spread the word best we can, get the link out there. Once you do it, it's not that bad. But
Well, the family members, the
they
older
like-
people, they can get the tickets for them. I think
The
they're-
senior citizens, like
yeah, I actually think there's something like if you're 65 or above or something, show your ID. I think you're good at the gate or something like that. Don't quote me, but I think there's something on.
Are they going to name that? They should name it after Steve Lennox Field or something
I'm
like
all
that.
for it. That's
So what do they got? Just called Bucks Field?
it's called a South Avenue Sports Complex.
I forgot to ask you about, and my wife and I have been there a few times, the legendary Buck Tavern.
yeah.
That's right by the Manhattan Bagel.
Yup.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right across from there. Yeah. That's a
That's your spot.
local watering hole.
right.
I mean, we're around. We've been there before, but
The stories they could tell there, some of the old timers, man,
Yep.
unbelievable. You guys go back a long way, Interboro, like
Oh, yeah.
mid-50s.
Do you know what the best part about everything that's kind of happening in Delaware County? That guys that played at the schools are getting the jobs now, right?
Yeah.
They're bringing back the alumni, people that stood out, and do you teach there?
no, I don't. I only have one teacher on my staff. My
What do you-
whole
what do you
staff.
do then?
I work in finance.
Oh, so you can just
Yeah. My work's real
you're
good.
in
with-
finance and you're probably breaking film down. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
I mean,
funny.
it's funny to me because it's like you get these opportunities where people normally coach. Like we had a Coach Carr at Strathaven. He owned the Great American Pub out on the main line, so he was always at practice.
Joe Carr.
Yeah.
He coached at
He's
Malvern.
just tearing it up, man. They love
He's
him
the
out
best.
there.
He's
Yeah.
the man. He was one of the best coaches we had
Yeah.
at Strathaven.
So what do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm confident. I mean, we're definitely confident. I think if we just play our game, we can turn into our style of game. I think we should be fine, and that's what we're telling. Same kind of messages all year long. Like we know the formula that we need to, as long as we execute it, we know the result. So, we just really believe it's on us. If we don't give anything away, we do our job. We play our type of
Don't
football.
make mistakes.
Yep. Don't turn the ball over.
Don't
No
turn the
stupid
ball over.
penalties.
Don't jump off sides.
Yep. If
Right.
we go
Dumb
backwards,
stuff.
I think we're
Ball
in good
security.
shape. Definitely.
And Abu's ready to roll. I know that he's a tremendous basketball player, too.
Is he really?
He can play.
I think he's I don't know the exact number, but he's
I was
100 and something away from the county record
For
for rushing in a single season.
yeah, so
What's he
that's
got now?
He's got he had 2205 and he had 187 last, whatever that calculates out to be.
So Tubby Mills had it last year, right?
He's the one who broke it in the Ridley
yeah,
game.
Ridley. Tubby Mills, who's now at, I'm trying to think where he went to college.
East Stroudsburg.
Okay,
East Stroudsburg.
yeah.
Yep. Same
Trying to
place
follow
that-
all
So
these
this
guys.
kid's gonna go to he's gonna get looks from Big 12 schools.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they were at our practice. Flew the private jet in. The running backs coach was there, videotaping them. So
That's crazy.
stirring up a little bit.
So how's
more.
your wife handled it? The kids? I mean,
I got a 1-year-old at home, so it's she's amazing with it.
Yeah.
The support and taking care of, my daughter Mila. She was, like we talked about last time, she was born, or the game that we were playing. I ran off the sideline when you guys were kicking, or you know what?
Oh, Coach
And
Clancy, tell him the story.
Yeah, and Clancy actually, because I told him before the game what was going on, and you guys were beating us 40 or something. I ran off, and my wife was in labor and delivered the next morning.
That's awesome.
So Clancy knew that because we were talking.
He's only got 35 kids. So he's got
Yeah.
a kid for every year he cut, but he's like 10
How
kids.
many's it really?
Yeah, I think he has 10.
Does he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had it.
But he would email me a couple times throughout the season, just like how you doing, how's the baby doing, all that. So
He's a really good guy. He's a man of few words, but he does have a good heart. He always does the right thing.
yeah, he's
And
just like Coach Lennox. I mean, Coach Lennox calls me after every game, win or loss.
sure he does.
Yep.
he probably still stands on the sideline.
Nah, he's at Springfield.
Do you have
Really?
Yes.
Why?
He's doing a quarterbacks over there.
Oh, is he? Springfield Delco?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
they're playing
He would-
Strathaven.
Why would
Yeah.
he? Why wouldn't he support you?
Nah, I mean, he was my college roommate is the offensive coordinator there,
Mm-hmm.
and he went through Interboro and was he was on Lou
Who's the
Delonzo.
Lou Delonzo.
Yeah,
I coached with his dad at
Okay.
Marple. His
Yep,
dad's the
okay.
man.
Oh yeah, great guy.
Yeah, Lou was the best. He's like, we're not doing that. We're gonna
Yeah.
He would
Right.
just change on the fly, man.
Yeah,
So I know you're
he's-
happy. You glad Chester? Nice year. I mean, it is. It's amazing what Coach Bell's done.
Oh yeah, yeah.
To get their first win in the playoffs, huge. I'm a big supporter of what Coach Bell's done at Chester, and it's hard to change that, right? So coming in, I know Cruz. I knew Cruz from years ago.
Chuck, yeah, he did a great job at Williamsport.
Yeah, he did. But it's just a different animal because he's so actively involved with the school and the community, and he built that foundation around his coaches, and his coaches are Chester guys, and the kids buy in. So it's listen. I personally think they're going to give them a run for their money. You know what I mean? They got a lot to prove. They're going out there at 7 p.m. on a Friday night. Yeah. I think anybody can be beaten. They're kids.
Yeah.
You coach kids.
Yeah.
They're all kids. So kids make mistakes, kids make plays, and kids capitalize on those plays. So it's a lot of luck.
Real quick, thoughts on Strathaven, Springfield, Delco?
Yeah, that's going to be old-fashioned bruiser there.
What's the Springfield style?
I mean, they're running our
okay.
Coach
I have no
Lennox's.
idea.
They're running Coach Lennox's offense, which is the same thing we're running.
Unbelievable. Who's a coach? There he is.
They have a really good quarterback.
And Ray Junta is at Strathaven. I think he's helping out Strathaven. Ray,
Yeah.
he's a legend. So anyway, Coach, we could talk forever. I really appreciate you coming in, man. And
I love it.
You're great on the air, and hopefully other coaches, everybody has an opportunity, and you can spread the word to get these people. It's so cool to have you guys on here, man.
it's fun.
And Jean-Pierre, thank you.
He's the best.
Thank you very much.
Pierre's the best, man.
And the good thing is everything's YouTube. You can check it out. You got everybody liked the show last time.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
pretty good
Yeah,
stuff. Okay, because I always, if you have any critiques, I'd like to,
Well, I keep coming back. So
Well, that's good. Yeah, you add something, to this. I mean, because you played the game, high level, and and everything.
honestly, I wish you nothing but luck.
Thank
I think
you.
I would love to see you guys win the district championship.
Thank you.
It's tough to be in these District 1 playoffs when you see local teams that are playing each other. You got a Strathaven playing a Springfield. I don't want to see that.
No.
You know what I mean? You got a Chester team playing Plymouth White Marsh. You got Great Valley playing Upper Dublin. That's the stuff that I like to see because now you see those guys twice,
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. When I coached at Marple, we beat Strathaven by a fluke. You know what I mean? When I coached there for a year with Delonzo.
Yeah.
And I said to Ray, I was like, Kevin Clancy ain't gonna let you beat him twice. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and that's the thing. That's the scary part about playing people twice. And then you got.
Well, we have in 6A North Penn, CB West. That's old school.
Yeah, that's old
Dick
school
Beck
suburban
against.
ones.
Yeah, okay. Then you got Souderton, Perkiomen Valley.
Yep, that'd be
And
one.
The game I did last week, Coatesville, Downingtown East. They had to play Downingtown East 2 weeks after beating them by like 4 points, Coatesville, and it was 15-0 in favor of Coatesville. And then Bo Horvath, lacrosse guys, who Chester had to deal with the other day. These lacrosse kids are just tearing it up now.
Yep.
I mean, and then so it's Downingtown East, Downingtown West.
They like to hit.
They do, and Springford, Garnet Valley. That should be interesting too. So, how's your lacrosse program at Interboro?
It's building. I mean,
Yeah, because
building
that
from the
really,
ground up.
I've seen,
Yeah, we got lacrosse kids on our team, and they're physical kids, and we're trying to teach them the right way, and then they kind of take that to the lacrosse field. So
look how nuts they are with the sticks, and it's crazy sport. So, again, Dennis Lux, thank you very much. Pope John Paul,
Thank you.
7 o'clock.
Yep, thank you.
Interboro Field. Chris Edwards, thank you for your time. Guru, I'll call you, but you the
I'm
national
just a regular dude,
championship with Delaware, 2003. And of course, speaking of Strathaven, this is their last time they were undefeated. Regular season was 2003, Dan Connor's senior year.
We were undefeated in '99.
The last time. The last time. Yeah, you went through an unbelievable run. All right, Dennis, thanks a lot. We'll keep in touch. Jean-Pierre, thank you. All the great sponsors out there. I'm Dave Berman, Delco Sports, 360. We'll see you next time.